Hello everybody. Today we're going to be making this, I'm trying to think of a name to call it, something about maybe a Shadow Box Bracelet. Um, so I thought it was cute. Here's what it looks like on the wrist. If I can get it right. There we go. And we could even put more than two, the shadow boxes. I was thinking about maybe adding two more, you know, the boxes. We might do that. You think that'd be nice? Um, so let's get a materials list going. I've got some, let's see, pink lilac matte galvanized perma finish Toho 11O beads. I've got some 4mm round metal beads. You could use 4mm drugs or any other 4mm round. I've got a couple jump rings. I got one that's about a 6mm and one that's 8 or 10 millimeters. As you see, I've got the bigger one on the loop end, and I've got the smaller one connecting the, and I think I might have used a rose gold instead of silver there. I'll have to change that, but connecting the lobster claw clasp. And so we're going to need a lobster claw clasp, and then we're going to need some 15O seed beads. And then I'm using a strand that I got back at the out of business sale at Packetans. A couple little puffy hearts. You could use really any, I think it's about a 14mm bead that you'd like. The hearts make it pretty because Valentine's Day is coming up. Okay, so I've got a size 10 beading needle, and we're going to need lots of thread. So just put on what you're comfortable with. Put on a stop bead, leaving about a 6-inch tail, 5 or 6, and come back and we'll get started. All right. Before we get started, I just want to let you know that the way this is going to go is we are going to make one of these long strips, well, two of them, okay, for a 7-inch wrist, which is a little, maybe 7¼ or so inch bracelet. We're going to need 47 units long. All right, both strips of right angle weave needs to be 47 units long. And that's what we're going to tackle first. Okay, now I know a lot of people have trouble with right angle weave, and of course I did too at first when I first learned it. You know, we all just doing, practice makes perfect, as they say. So pick up 4 of your 11O seed beads, bring them down to your stop bead, and needle up through a couple or one and pull it into a circle. And there's a little right angle weave unit. Now that is going to be our base. We're going to go around and build off each one of these separate beads. And we're going to do that by moving our thread around and connecting the beads. The first wall, we'll say, that we're building onto this floor unit, we're going to pick up 3. And that's the only time we're going to pick up 3. We're going to build the whole wall of the 3 and the 1 bead we're working out of. So needle through the opposite side. Your thread's coming out over here. Needle through the opposite side. Pull your thread down. Now, very important, as soon as you do that, you advance your needle through the next floor bead. And that gets you ready to put on your next wall. And we've already got a floor bead that our thread's coming out of, and one of the side beads. So there's 4 beads to a unit, so that means we only have to pick up 2 beads. And we come up and go through this side bead of this wall closest to you, and the floor bead that we're already coming out of. And pull your string down. And like I said, very important to remember to advance your needle through the next floor bead. Alright, we've already got the floor bead and one of the wall beads, so we need to pick up another wall bead and a ceiling bead and come down through that side bead on the previous wall and the floor bead that we advanced through. Okay, now we have the floor and 3 walls built. So this is the last step in this unit. So we're going to watch out, we're going to pull our stop bead down a little. We've got to advance through that next floor bead. You can find the hole. There we go. Go ahead and do that. And my tail thread is in the way. So we advance through that next floor bead like we did with all the rest before and we're not going to pick up any beads yet. We're going to go up through. We've got to bring all these sides together. The 2 sides together. So we're going to go up through that side bead of the first wall we built. And then we're going to come down through the side bead of the last wall we built, and advance through that floor bead again, and that will bring our component together. See, now we're missing the ceiling bead, so we got to come up through that side bead of the last wall we're working on, pick up a bead, and come down through the opposite side bead. It's kind of hard to hold on to it first. Get it right, and then come down through that side bead. And just do that. I was going to do 2 steps at once, but we'll keep it. So we came down through the side bead. Now we're going to go back through that floor bead. Okay. Now we're just going to come up through, work our way to the top so we can sew our ceiling together. To the side and go through one of the ceiling beads. And then we're just going to come all the way around all 4 of these ceiling beads and sew them together. Because the ceiling bead becomes our next, or the ceiling unit, after it's sewed together, becomes our next floor unit. And we're going to be building walls and a ceiling off of it. So, coming around. And come through all 4 of those ceiling beads. Okay? And each way we look at this, it's going to have the unit of 4 beads. It's just like a little cube. Alright? So get to that point, little cube, and come back and we'll do another one. Okay, so we've got our little cube. We're coming out of one of the floor beads, because it was a ceiling, now it's a floor. We'll be building onto it. So pick up, the first one is the first wall, we pick up 3 beads, because we only have 1 bead to work off of. So we come through that same bead that we're coming out of on the opposite side, we needle through, and then we rotate our piece and advance up through that next floor bead. Okay, and we're going to pick up, we've got 2 beads, we've got a wall bead and a floor bead, so now we need a ceiling bead and another wall bead. We're going to come down through that side wall and through the floor. Like I said, at first it's so hard to hold on to, but it gets easier. And then we're going to rotate our piece and advance up through that next floor bead. Alright, we've got a floor and a wall, and you pick up a wall and a ceiling. We'll come down through that side wall bead and that floor bead that we're coming out of. Okay, and we've got 3 walls. We're going to rotate our piece, advance through that next floor bead. Now we got to go up the wall bead, and we got to put our ceiling bead on, because we've got a floor bead and 2 wall beads. That's 3. Pick up 1 ceiling bead, and that makes 4. Come down through the opposite wall bead and the floor bead. And come up through that wall bead, because we're working our way up to the ceiling to sew it together and turn it into a floor. And we're going to come through the first ceiling bead on a right angle. Then we're going to come through that next bead. We're just going to sew all 4 of these beads together. Okay, and there's 2 units. Now, like I said, we need 47. We need 2 strips of 47 units. So this is just, it's repetitive. It'll give you lots of practice on the right angle weave stitch, and we can mix up you can really build beautiful pieces just knowing this stitch. You can make really beautiful, really sky's the limit. Alright, I like to come through, after I sew through all 4, I like to come through one more, and I feel like that secures it. See, it just really pulls it nice and tight. I'm going to go through it one more time with you. Pick up 3 beads, because we've only got 1 to work out of. We're going to needle through the opposite side where our thread's coming out. We're going to rotate and advance your needle through the next floor bead. Now we only need 2, because we've got a floor bead and a wall bead. We need another wall bead and a ceiling bead. Come down through that wall and the floor. And see, that puts it hooks them together, you know, and puts that corner of 2 walls and the 2 walls together. Now we got to advance our needle to the next floor bead. Pick up 2 out of the 4 beads you need for a right angle weave. Come down through the wall and the floor, the opposite side of where your thread's coming out, and pull that wall into existence. To rotate your piece, come through the floor. Since we have 3 walls, that means we only have to add 1 bead. So we come up through we're working our way up to the ceiling to add the 1 bead that we need. So you can jump over and go through that opposite wall bead, and if you can get at the same time, the floor bead. And that puts that ceiling bead right in place and completes the 4 beads we need at the ceiling. Travel up that wall again to work your way to one of the ceiling beads, and come through the ceiling bead. Now we just want to sew this ceiling together. So I'll go through 2 at a time. And then I do 1 to grow on. Make sure it's extra secure. Just really pulls it tighter. And there's 3 units. And how we count our units is on one of the edges, it doesn't matter which one, there's 1, 2, 3. That just makes it's just easier. That's just the easiest way. You can count these on either one of the 4 edges. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So make however many. But for a bracelet that fits a size 7 wrist, a 7-inch wrist, I'm making 47 units. Okay, so make 2 strips of this, 47 units long. Come back, and we will hook them together and build our little shadow boxes. All right? Have fun. Okay, we're back. And what we need to do, and which I've already done, is count over 24 units. Okay, our 24th unit is going to be our center unit. And so we're coming out of one of the, we've got 4 corners on this strip. I'm coming out one of the corner beads. It doesn't really matter which bead you're coming out of, but make sure you're coming out of that 24th unit. And we're just going to build. We're going to build off of it. So let's pick up 3 11 O's. And we're coming out of one side of that bead. And we're just going to jump into the other side. We're doing this just like it's a cubic right angle weave, but we're doing it, we're using this unit that we counted off as the base, as the floor unit. And so we're going to come through, advance our needle through that next bead in that unit. All right, we're going to pick up 2 11 O's that come through that wall unit, or that wall bead, and that floor bead. And then we're going to turn it and then advance our needle through that next floor bead. We're going to pick up 2 seed beads. We're going to come down through that wall bead and the floor bead. And then we're going to advance our needle through that next floor bead. Now we've already got 3 units done. We've only got 1 left to do. So we're going to come up through that wall bead. We're going to pick up 1 ceiling bead. We're going to come down through the next wall bead and that floor bead. And then we're going to go up through the wall and then the ceiling and sew those ceiling beads together. And that's going to turn it into our floor. To start, once more. Okay. So we're going to pick up 3 more. And we'll go around and needle through that same bead on the opposite side of where our thread's coming out. And we're going to advance our needle to the next floor bead. We're going to pick up 2 seed beads. I'm going to come through the wall and the floor. And we're going to advance our needle through the next floor bead. We're going to pick up 2 seed beads. We're going to come down through the wall and the floor, the wall bead, and the floor bead. And we're going to advance our needle through that next floor bead. Since we've got 3 units on. Okay. We went through that, advance through the next floor bead, up through the wall, picked up one, go down through that opposite wall and the floor bead, and we'll make our way back up to the top to the ceiling. So we're going to go through that wall bead, and the ceiling. We're going to tie all 4 of the ceiling beads together. Okay, and then we're going to make, we're going to do that. Excuse me. We're going to do 3 more times. We're going to make a total of 5 right angle weave units, cubic right angle weave units. We've got 2 done, so we just need to do 3 more cubes. Come back and I will show you the next step. Okay, now we've made a total of 5. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah, a total of 5 here. And then you're going to work your way over. You're going to count over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're going to do it again. Now make sure to flip it up and do this unit here. You know, don't have one out here and one over here. Make sure they're all in a line. And so we'll do the first one together. Pick up 3. Coming out this side. I'm going to go on the opposite side of that same bead we're coming out of and needle through. And advance your needle. Pick up 2. Come down through the wall bead and the floor bead. Turn your piece. Advance your needle through the next floor bead. Pick up 2 beads. Come down through the wall bead and the floor bead again. And then advance your needle through the next floor bead. You've got 3 walls. All you need is 1 bead. So you come through that floor bead, then you come up through the wall bead. You pick up a bead. You go down through the next wall bead and the floor bead. Then you work your way up through that wall bead to the ceiling. And then tie your ceiling together, and then it becomes the floor that you're going to build off of. Okay. And then make 4 more cubic right angle weave units on top of this one. Okay. Make 4 more units on top of this one. Work your way back down. because, like I said, we're going to make more shadow boxes on this one. And then count over 7 more. And put 1 more row of 5 cubic right angle weave boxes. Okay? And then come back and we'll do the next side. Okay, I did my last one on this side, my last little units, and all I'm doing is I'm working my way back around so I can get started on this side. I'm just, you know, going with the thread path, the right angle weaves. You know, I'm just going up this. I just wanted to pop in real quick and show you how to work your way around, in case you didn't know. And I'm going to go, I'm just working in right angle weaves over. And we're going to count over 7 on this side and start our 2. We're going to do, see, this is the center one, so we only need 2 on this side. So I'm just working my way in right angles. Okay, all the way over to the center. And then once you get to the center, you're going to count over 7 like we have been. And then we're going to do 5 units coming off the, alright, let's see. So we're at the center here. We still got to work our way over 7. So let's count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and we'll just make sure to do it on the right side, the same side as these are. We count over 7 and do 5 units. Count over 7 and do 5 units. All right. Come back. We'll attach the top bar of units, and then we'll put our hooks on and go from there. Yep. Okay. Now we want to. We're just going to connect this. Okay. So let's take our center one. I'm going to work my way around and start in the front here towards me. I think that'll be easier for me. All right. So we're coming out of this 24th bead, and we want to add this. Okay, we've got 2 beads of this unit. I'm going to pick up 1 because we need 1 on this side. I'm going to come through that front, that bead there, adjacent to the one that we're coming out of, and I'm going to put on them. I'm going to leave it apart a little bit so you can see it, hopefully. So we added 1 bead. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 beads. We need 1 more bead. I need to get a rubber mat to put down so my mat won't slide. And so I picked up a bead. Now we're going to come through the opposite side of that bead that thread's coming out of. And pull. See, now we've got that front unit on. And now we need to, this, I'm not going to lie, this is quite complicated to hold it. To be able to hold it. Okay, so now I'm going to come and I'm going to advance through the next floor bead. Let's see, I've got 3 beads. I've got the floor bead, a wall bead, and a ceiling bead. Now I have to put another wall on. So I'm going to come through the seal, pick up a bead, come through the ceiling, okay, then I'm going to come down through the wall. I'm going to work my way, come down through that wall bead and the floor bead that we were working out of. Now we need to advance our needle through that next floor bead. I've got so many threads hanging, it's kind of a pain in the butt. But I needed those ends. Where's that one coming from? Oh, okay. Okay, alright. Now we've advanced and we've got 3 beads again. So now we just have to pick up 1. Coming out of the floor, come up through the ceiling bead there. Don't get overwhelmed with this. Do 1 side at a time. Okay, we're going to come down through the wall and the floor bead. Goodness. All right, goodness. Okay. Okay, we've come through that floor bead. Now we're going to turn and advance our needle through that next floor bead. All right, you've got all your beads on this side. You just got to sew them together. So you come up the wall bead and the ceiling bead. And then we'll go back down through the other wall bead and then the floor bead. Okay, and there we have the center attached. And you just, sometimes it helps if you don't pull them real tight to begin with, and you can see all 4, units as you're working. If that might help a little. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work our way over and count over 7 units. Work our way over 7 units and do the same thing. And the next, you have to just choose a side because, you're going to have to go left and then you'll probably have to work your way down or cut your thread and start your thread again and come over on this side and connect them. So we are working our way over. We're going to count over 7. So you just work your way over doing right angle weave stitches to the 7. You count over 7 beads. Of course, these corner beads here. And then we're going to attach this one. I'll come back and attach one more with you. I'm going to work my way over, work your way over, and then we'll get started. Okay, here we are. And let me zoom in a little bit more. And I've counted over 7 here to match my other side. And I'm going to pick up 1. Let's scoot up a little. I'm going to pick up 1 seed bead because we've got 1 seed bead here and we've got 2 seed beads. So we need 2 more. So we're going to put 1 on each side. Pick up a seed bead and go through that adjacent seed bead on the other piece that we're adding and pull. See, we got 1 in between these 2. Let's pick up 1 more. And we're coming out here. We're going to come down through this side of the seed bead in the opposite piece. And we don't need to pull that real tight yet, but now what we're going to do, and this is, the tricky part, we need to advance our needle, and our thread's going that way, so we got to advance our needle through the next floor bead right here. So you probably need to pick it up and bring my thread up through this way. It's just getting caught. Let me untangle it. My goodness, I'm just using too much thread, that's all. Alright, so we just came through that floor bead, and now we need to advance our needle through the next floor bead on this unit that we're working out of. See, it'll be setting up like this, but we're working out of this unit, so we've advanced our needle up through the next floor bead, and we got to see how many beads we have. We've got a ceiling bead, a wall bead, and a floor bead. We just need 1 more wall bead, and then come up through that ceiling and pull. Alright, so we've come up through the ceiling. I'll be right back. Okay, I just had to get my bearings. My leg was hurting, and okay, so coming out of that floor bead, we picked up a wall bead, 1 bead, and come up through that ceiling. Alright, and so we got to work our way around. So we're going to come through that wall. Bead. And that floor bead. And then we're going to advance our needle around to that next floor bead. All right, and here we have 3 beads again, so we're just going to pick up 1. You can see 1, 2, 3. We need 1 right here on this side, so we're going to come through the ceiling, picked up 1 bead, came through the ceiling. Now we're going to work our way back down to the floor, coming through the ceiling, the wall, and the floor. And then we're going to, we're going to turn it so we can advance to the next floor bead. Alright, we've got all 4 beads here, so all we have to do is reinforce them, tie them together, sew them together. So come up through that wall. It'll look confusing looking at my piece, but if you're doing it along with me, you'll be able to see. Alright, and then the ceiling. And then the wall. And back in the floor. I need to move my pliers. Okay. And then we can work our way around. Count over 7 and do the same thing. We're just adding 2 beads to the front, a bead on 2 sides, and then sewing the other one together. Alright, so finish, and then you'll have to work your way down here and put these on. And after we get these on, come back and we'll do the embellishments. Okay. Okay. I went ahead and added some beads to my shadow boxes. I didn't use all hearts because I wanted to show you that you could really put anything you wanted in here. I think flatter might work better, but yeah, so I got a couple of magnesite coin beads. Okay, so we've got all of our shadow boxes sewn. And I know you don't have any of your beads in, so I'm going to show you right here how to, it's really simple. So you count over 1, 2, 3, right? And then you go down through that center bead. Do that right angle through that center. And then you're going to, depending on how big your bead is, see, I didn't need any extra beads. And I can't do 15 O's because they go up through this heart I'm using. So I'm using 11 O beads. Pick 11 O, a heart, 11 O. And I'm going to bring it down. And I'm going through, let's see, I'm going to come through. I want to be on the front because I we're going to make it even. So I went through, and I was coming through on the back when I picked it up. So I want to count over 3, and then I want to go down through the front of that bead. It's on the inside. See there? No, it's going to be a little loose. Because these beads are a little bit bigger, but that's okay. You won't be able to really. It's not that loose. And I hope you guys saw what bead I'm going through. Let me do it. See if I can bring it up close. So I counted over. Let me get my needle for a pointer. I counted over 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then on the underneath side, the inside, it's that bead that goes down through. Not these ones on the edge, but the ones that goes down through, like that. Okay. And then I'm going to secure it. I'm just going to, and to pull it in the center, I'm going to just come on down through the beads and the 11-0, the heart, and 11-0 again. Oh, let's see. Let's get that off there. Okay, and go back through that. If I can find it. Go back down through that bead that we went through last time. But it'll be going the opposite way, so it'll kind of like center your heart. All right. And then from there, we will be just embellishing. See how we did here? I put 11-0s around the edges and then 15-0s in the center here. So that's simple. Let's work our way back up. Let's work our way back up to the top. And I'm just going to, just start from here. And I'm going to go around and I'm going to pick up an 11-0 seed bead. Ouch! I just poked myself. And I'm going to jump over. I'm going to just fill in the gaps here on the front. I'm going to jump over into that next 11-0 seed bead. But I'm using a different color, of course. And then I'm going to pick up another 11-0. Jump up into the next 11-0. I'm going to pick up another 11-0. I'm going to go into the next 11-0. And pick up 11-0. I'm going to go up because I'm making that corner up into that corner 11-0. I went up instead of that way. I turned that way in that right angle. There in the corner. I'm going to pick up an 11-0. I'm going to jump up into that next pink 11-0. And that's what I'm doing all the way around the edge. And I probably do the same thing I did on the gunmetal colored bracelet. I'll probably go around, the outside edge, and then I'll go around the inside edges, putting 11-0s in. And then after I got my outside edges in, come back and I'll show you how to do the inside edge. Okay. All right, so I've come around the edges, the inside edge and the outside edge, just going from one 11-0 to the next, picking up one 11-0 of a different color and putting in between those 11-0s all the way around the outside edge and then the inside edges. Okay, but and that's with 11-0s. So now like I did this one here, I embellished even further by filling in this little gap here in the center of the right angle weave units, in the center, okay, not along the edges. So what you do is you're going to be working out of these 11-0s right here in the middle, okay, and they're turned, the edges turn this way, these are turned this way, like a right angle to the edge, okay. And so we're coming out of one, and our thread's this way. So we want our thread to go the same way. So we're going to jump over into the next, like that, the next 11-0, and with your thread going the same way, and pull, and it'll pop that right in the center. It'll close up those little gaps. All right, so pick up another one, and we're just going to keep going. Our thread going the same way. See, it's coming out that side. We want to be coming out that side. And this one as well. Okay, so we needle through that way. We pull, and it pops that little 15-0 right in the center. Pick up again. Go down into the next 11-0 and pull, and make sure when you pull that your little 15-0 goes where it's supposed to go. I'm going to do a couple more because the corners might be a little difficult. So let me just work my way down to the corner here. And yeah, okay. So to do the corner, I'm not going to go this way. I'm coming up through this 11-0. I'm going to make a right angle into this 11-0 right here, right next to it. Just want the pink 11-0. All right, and then just do the same thing. Pick up an 11-0. The threads come out this way, so we want our needle and thread to be coming out that way. So we come down in, and then that puts our little 15-0 right there in the corner. All right, and just continue to go around and embellish the center of, your whole bracelet. When you come back, we will put the clasp, we will finish the ends. What we're going to do is we're going to tie them together, or not tie them, but sew them together. And then we will put our do like we did here. This is a kind of a long, it don't look like it's very involved, but it really is. The clasps are put on kind of different. All right, so finish embellishing, come back, and we will do the next step. Okay, Alright, well, we've got the embellishments on the front put on. And I've got one side sewn together. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So your thread should be coming out of the inside bead, the very, and the rightmost bead on that top unit. And we want to bring them together. And we're just going to be pairing these like a mirror image. So we're coming out of that bead on the left. We're going to go through the bead, the mirror image of that bead on the right. And pull, and then we're going to come back through the one on the left. Alright, now we got to, excuse me, we got to get down to the second bead. And so, well, that's going to be easy enough. Yeah, we can come straight down through that bead on the first bead on the, not the top, but the front. See here, this bead and this bead. So we're coming out of the one on the left, we're going to go up on the one on the right. See, when you pull it, it'll come together. Go back down through the one on the left. Pull tight. Alright, then we're going to have to go around this unit to get to the next bead. So take a left, right angle, and then go down through that next, the left side of that unit. Alright, then we're going to go down through the bottom bead of that unit. And then we're going to come up through the side. Bead of that same unit on the inside. Okay, and we're going to come down through that mirrored, the bead that's mirrored from the one we just came out of. And we'll go back up through that one on the left. Okay. Then we're going to work our way down to the next inside bead. And these are right angle weave units, so you know you got to sew in the same thread path, which just means in right angles. Let's see. Go through that one. And then we'll come down through this next inside bead. And we're going to come up through the one that's mirrored, the mirrored image of that bead. There's one right across from it. And come down. Oops. And pull. Okay, we need one more. We're going to sew one more together. So we're going to go left, I'm going to try to get through a couple at the same time, speed up the process, and then back up the bead we want. Okay, and so we just want to make sure we get the right bead. And then back up the one on the left. And pull it tight. Okay, now we want to do the same on the back. So what we need to do is just work our way around to the back side and do the same exact thing. So all these 4 beads, well, actually it's 8, but 4 on this side and 4 on this side, we got to sew them together. Do the exact same thing on the back, come back, and we will put the clasp on. Excuse me. Alright, we've got it sewed together, and we need to be coming out of, well, let's work our way to one of the outside beads, on the very tip. Okay, coming out there. I'm going to pick up a 4mm round. I just happen to be using metal. And I'm going to come through the neck sideways. 11 out on top. See, my thread's coming out there. I'm going the same way. My thread will be coming out the same way through the next sideways bead. And then I'm going to find the hole in the bead. And come up through it. Then I'm going to pick up another 4mm round. And I'm going to do the same thing. I think it's the middle one. I think we go through the middle. And then we come up through the hole in the 4mm. And pull. And they should be pretty well centered. Alright, and then we're going to pick up, we're just going to, pick up 2 4mm and go down through, coming out of one, the top of one, we're going to go down through the next bead. Alright, and then we're going to come up, we're coming out the bottom of the bottom row of the left bead. We're going to come up through the bottom and the top bead. And find the hole again. Here we go. And pull them down tight. And that's what we're going to peyote this loop that holds our jump ring. Okay, so pick up 2 of your main color beads. Coming out of this bead, just go down through the next bead. It's herringbone. Excuse me, it's not peyote. Herringbone. And then we come up through the next bead, straight across from where we're coming out. See our thread? Pull it over. That's the bead we want to go up, and then come up through the 11O also. That's on top of it. Come down through. I'm coming down through 2 just to secure it. The 11O and the 4mm. Then we'll go back up through the 4mm and the 2 11Os. Okay. So make you a strip. Mine is 13. So 11 more. Come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, we got that finished. Now we're going to pick up 2 of our 4mm rounds. And we're going to go ahead and herringbone them as well. We're going to do 2 sets of 2, just like we did on the bottom. And last set. And come down through. And back up through. Now we're going to take it and we're going to fold it back, and the 2 center beads here, see the center beads that we're over top of, that's sideways, the ones that are, you got the cross, 2 crosses on the top. Well, we want to be in the center, coming into the center bead. Whichever side that your thread's coming out of, either left or right. And then we want to go back through the right one, or the opposite one. And then we want to come up through that side. On that side, we want to come up through those beads. And pull it down. And then we probably want to reinforce by going back down the left side. Let's see. Go down this side and back through that bead that's connecting it. If you're using metal beads, don't pull too hard. You break your string. That's what I'm afraid to do here. Now we go back through that left bead in the center there. And then we'll come back through the right. And we'll come back up the left. And go through a few of the seed beads. And go down a couple. Once it keeps wanting to go down that metal one. I don't want it to go down the metal. There we go. Pull. And that's how we're just going to tie off our thread here. It's just by going up through a few beads and down through a few, and like it'll lock it in if you do that a couple times. So get to that point and come back, and we'll do the next side. Okay, we are coming out the other side. One of those center. There's 2 seed beads in the very center. Let's pick up 2 4mm. And let's try it like this. Let's just try to come through that second bead in the center. And then we'll come up through that left bead from the bottom up. Very good. And then pick up 2 more. The same beads, 4mm rounds. And come down through the right side, or the right bead. Pull, then go back up the left. Okay. Now here, I can't find my jar or my little container of wire guardians. So if you have a wire guardian, this is where you want to put it on. That's what I've got used here. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and sew on a spring ring. So I'll just come down through, pick up the spring ring, come down through the next bead, just one. I'll come up through the left bead, and I'll just reinforce a few times. These metal beads are kind of hard to get through. Let's go through there, go through the ring, and then go back down through the next bead. And then go back up through the left side and do it again. And them through. And then when you're done reinforcing, come down all the way through both of the 4mm, through the center, one of the center beads, whichever side you're on when you're finished, and then snake your way around a couple of these units, and that's how we are going to end our threads. It's pretty secure if you just go around, like all the way around one unit, and then work your way to another unit and go around it, and then cut your thread. I didn't mention, but back when we peyoted that loop or herringbone, if you have a closed ring, you want to make sure and put that in there before you close it up. Okay. All right, so I'm going to end mine right there. I'm going to cut my thread. I'm going to get my pliers and put my rings on. There's that one. And then I'll have to get my jump ring, my split ring opener to put my, well, I'll just put it on with this for now. Okay. All right, now I've got a tail thread to sew in. I'm sure you do too. So just snake around sewing in your tail thread, or any threads you might have. Come back and we'll just look at our bracelets. Let me hook this and see what it looks like. Yeah. It's cute. All right, I'll be back. Okay, here's our bracelet. I really think it turned out cute. I like them both. I think I like the one with more shadow boxes. It's more like a cuff. There is a front and back. Of course, we embellished the front. But this could be, you could make this double-sided if you wanted to. But I don't see any need to. It's a really cute cuff. Can't really see it sitting up like that, but there we are. And here's this one. This one, since it has less of those shadow boxes, it's not as stiff. But there's that one. And I want to show you one more thing before we go. I got I haven't tied my tail thread in yet, but I made this little lariat out of the Flamingo Beach collection. And this has just got a loop, and you put this through the loop. I'll probably do a tutorial on this next. And there's that little necklace, little lariat. Love the bright colors. Alright, so here's today's project, and I'll see you in the next video.